Hey, this is Tim Pierce. We're going to look at left-hand vibrato from 4 great guitar players. Bruce Watson came off the road for a minute with Foreigner, and I grabbed him for a discussion on this. Click the link below if you want to check out the full version in the Masterclass.
So we just put up Back in Black by AC/DC, and I think we both got blown away by what we heard. I mean, it's... Right?
The amount of energy behind it is just like, it just push you back in your chair. You know?
So that's a different thing. And I also hear him starting, sometimes like he'll go, he'll hit the note and delay his start of his vibrato just for a millisecond. But you really have to work the thing to get that happening.
Yeah, so much energy behind it, you know?
So it's really the biggest, really big, fast, strong.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when you try to play it, it's, you know, you think you have it, you A-B yourself right next to that kind of vibrato. It's humbling.
Yeah, I mean, for me, even if I do these 3 notes, my hand is tired. Respect.
I just looked at multiple videos of Angus doing Beck in Black, and he appears to be shaking from the wrist, just like I was taught with his vibrato. And it's very wide and somewhat fast. When he pulls a string up here, it can be really fast, even a little faster, it seems like. Also, what he's doing is something that I was taught, which is he's using other fingers for strength. So the 3rd finger is fretting, but the 2nd finger is right behind it, pushing 2, so that the strength from both fingers are taking care of this business. And that helps too for strength and stamina.
You got it. B.B. King vibrato. I was just noticing, if you clean up the guitar and do this fast vibrato, you sound more like B.B. King.
Yeah.
You kind of got it. But it is a little more gentlemanly.
It is, yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Elegance.
Maybe it's not quite as wide.
Yeah. And maybe he's not trying as hard as the young guys. He's already got it down. He doesn't have to try anymore.
Yeah. So just to look at it, it seems to me like it's pretty even from side to side. And if I think of watching him on video,
yeah, you see these fingers flopping.
Yeah, it's kind of like a butterfly.
Yeah.
A lot of like high single note stuff. But you do see the fingers kind of fly like that. But I think the actual range of the vibrato is not quite as wide as maybe Angus Young.
Yeah.
So Angus Young would be... you really
fast and hard as you can hit it,
Yeah, but B.B. King more stays in a narrow range pitch-wise.
Yeah. And it seems like he doesn't do it as much on a bent string as other guys. A lot of his is laying on an unbent string.
Oh, that's a good point.
It kind of sets you up with a long bent note, and then... You know?
That's very true. So, no vibrato.
Right.
I tend to do that all the time. You know? And then
right.
Too much, but he goes...
Yeah, there's tension, like, you know. It's like, what's going to happen?
You got it down, man.
Wow.
Cool.
A master.
Looking at videos of B.B. King, it confirms what we were saying, I think. It's very butterfly-like. I can't even do it as fast as... You can sort of do it like it. Also, his tone is on the cleaner side, and he does tend to vibrato root notes and chord tones. Like if he's in A minor, do the root there, or a 5th there, and occasionally he'll pull a string and do it. But it's mostly his landings, and mostly the root. And a really, really fast kind of butterfly effect.
So I put up Lazy off Machine Head by Deep Purple. And once again, it's different than I remember. He does riffs with no vibrato.
And there's
No
so much
vibrato.
tension, it's like
Yeah.
unnerving in a good way.
And when he does vibrato, it's fast.
Yeah.
I can't even do it that fast. It's pretty cool, and I wouldn't say Van Halen borrowed that. It's just some of the hammer-on and pull-off action, you know, that Van Halen does reminds me of Blackmore from this record, Machine Head. I think Machine Head was kind of the peak for guitar prowess from Blackmore and Deep Purple.
Yeah.
And I hear some of that in Van Halen's playing, but once again, I'm blown away by how he chooses to not vibrato a lot of the time.
Lays on it.
Yeah, and I would automatically go, it's so cool.
Yeah.
This is going to change my playing from here out.
Yeah.
It really is. It's amazing.
It's really great. Wow. I did notice a correlation. I don't think that Angus Young necessarily listened to Richie Blackmore, but we're back to a really fast vibrato.
Right.
It doesn't sound. They don't sound like each other, but there is, as far as the rapidity of the wiggle is similar.
Well, and the Richie Blackmore vibrato reminds me of bands I used to hear in the 60s. Guitar players often would really do it fast. And because I was born in 58, I listened to everything in the 60s on the radio, and that was more of a style that was 60s to me.
Yeah.
So we brought up Jimmy Page, and you had a couple of insights about his playing.
Yeah, he does use. Of anyone that we've talked about, seemed to be using the most variation in terms of the speed of the vibrato. Because I know there's times, most of the time he'd play rather on the fast side, but there are times when he would go for something really languid and moody. It was a real clear choice in my mind when he was doing that stuff.
And there's also this thing where it would be two notes. I don't know if that qualifies as vibrato, but so did that once in a while too.
Yeah, Jimmy Page is another one of those guys where the vibrato is flowing out of his need to express. It's not a default, and we're finding that's what the great players do.
Yeah, they choose these moments to use it within their musical, signatures and musical poetry,
and not using it as a form of space.
Yeah.
Now, looking at videos of Richie Blackmore, I'm struck by two things which we touched upon. One, it's a very fast vibrato. I think in the early 70s it was quite fast. And when I look at videos, say from the late 80s, he has slowed down and gotten a little more Clapton-like. So I think there was a transition over a period of years where he did slow down his vibrato a bit. It does seem to come from the wrist. The other thing that really is remarkable to me about him and some of these other guys, a lot of them, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jeff Beck, they choose to vibrato. Eddie Van Halen too. They choose to vibrato, but they don't do it all the time. Often they'll land on the tonic and there'll be no vibrato. And that's something I want to start doing more because I tend to default and do a vibrato note anytime I land on a tonic. In Lazy, Ritchie pulls vibratos, and the very next time he pulls, there's no vibrato. I'll demonstrate. So he makes those choices instinctively, not without thinking. I'm sure they're second nature to vibrato some of the time, but not use it as a default, not as a habit. So once again, his vibrato is very fast. Now with the cleaner tone, it seems to be a little more shallow too. Like on Lazy, before he cranks up the tone, it seems to be a little more shallow. In other words, it only goes like this. Then when he cranks up the tone, it seems to be a wider vibrato. So that's another, I think, second nature choice he's made. And it's quite fast.
Okay, so now I'm starting to get goosebumps because we just listened to Jeff Beck, and it's a whole different story. I heard two vibratos, one kind of slow and shallow, and another one kind of fast and more intense. But I also heard that he does not use vibrato a lot of the time.
Yeah.
At all.
It seems to flow exactly with his dynamic. When he's playing softly and gently, it seems to be a little slower and shallower, and as the energy came up, it got faster. And
I agree with you. It seems like when he's gentle, it's almost just like that. It's a little slower and very, very mild, very shallow. I mean, you still hear it. And then when he cranks up the intensity, but that's not quite it. Show me your interpretation of the two vibratos.
Maybe.
Okay, so you just did something cool. Well, it was with your finger. You didn't use your wrist at all.
You're talking like I knew what I was doing. But
Well,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you. I just saw the finger move more than the wrist, which
Really
creates a different
small.
sound, and I would have to look to see what his fingers look like.
Interesting.
If I press my knuckle or the side of the index finger down, then I have a lot more control.
Yeah, to keep it very small.
Very small, like a very small circle. Show me how you interpret his strong vibrato.
Yeah.
I put up a YouTube of Jeff Beck playing a Strat, so we got to show that stuff as
Yeah.
best we can.
Yeah.
That Strat is set up the right way with the bridge just angled a little bit. This one is a Floyd Rose, and so it's not going to sound quite like that. But give me some Jeff Beck vibrato arm moves.
Wow. Seems like he kind of bends in between notes a lot. I think we're leaving the world of vibrato and getting to sort of note.
I just put up a video of Jeff Beck, and we saw some stronger vibrato going on, but he was playing a Strat. And also using this for vibrato, and also for these incredible pitch things that I don't have command of.
Yeah.
And then really, really the most virtuoso use of this thing.
You can play scales with it.
Yeah, scales
Yeah.
with the vibrato on.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I can play random notes that I am not choosing.
Maybe you could write a song around my vibrato. I don't know.
Yeah. Just imagine the beautiful musical version of that. Looking at Jeff Beck's videos, I'm more amazed than ever. If he's playing a Les Paul, there's plenty of hand vibrato. And it's somewhat similar to my aesthetic, which is a kind of a slower, Clapton-y, kind of gentlemanly vibrato. And plenty of times when he doesn't vibrato at all, but on a Les Paul, his technique changes to the guitar in a beautiful way. And I believe it's from the wrist also. Now, the amazing thing when you hear him with a Strat, the bar becomes a piece of his hand. I mean, I looked at a concert from 2017 where he does the entire concert with a Strat. This bar is actually part of his right hand. You don't even see the bar, you just see the hand doing all these great moves. So he does less vibrato with the left hand with a Strat, and he basically uses this to vibrato most things. It's just all the beautiful variety of moves that he makes. And you don't even notice really the bar. It's really just part of his arm and part of his hand. It's beautiful. Moves like that. It's just awesome.